tuning in today. I'm your illustrious host, Nico, Simply Priceless on Instagram. And this is the Divine Mind Podcast. Thank y'all for being here. I'm grateful. I'm feeling some emotions. I'm feeling some feelings. And I'm thankful at this point to be able to sit here and have a space, to sit to where, to have a space to feel like where I don't got to show up and I don't even have to be an expert. I just show up and I show up as myself. And I'm grateful to have this space because what a time. What a time to be alive. If ever it was a necessity for if ever there was a necessity, it's a, it it's a necessity right now for people to cultivate safe spaces, right? Like people talk about therapy, people talk about people talk about safety, people talk about where they want to be, and people talk about a lot of stuff, but I feel like right now mentally people are I feel like mentally people are spun out, and understandably so, because there's so many things grabbing our attention. There's so many things that everybody is trying to make sense of. And with that, because everybody is working and everybody's brains are in constant, we all are focused on so many different things. And that is dependent upon any number of things. But one of my points is I have so many points because this has been such an interesting first quarter. Mm. I'm feeling as if I want to create a safe space, a more safe space for myself. And being that this is a platform, I am using this with the utmost intention and operating from the most loving place. And because I don't see, or at least I don't, it's not that I don't see, it's that I feel like there aren't enough safe spaces. I feel like I know there are not, excuse me, I know there aren't enough spaces that are being cultivated right now because there's too many people that feel alone. It's too many people that feel isolated. And a lot of times you just need somebody to talk to. You just need somebody to sit with and kick it. And I'm glad to be able not primarily not just because that for me, but I feel like having a platform, I feel it a moral obligation to instill certain things in the minds of people, my people specifically, because I want everything for us first. I want all of this for us first. All black people, I want it all for us first because we are the first at everything. Even the first at being, even the first to be on the other end of like criminal behavior. I think it's not enough safe spaces being cultivated, and because of that, I want this to be the big comfy couch. It's like going to your grandma couch and you on the couch, not the one with the plastic, the one that's not the one that's covered up, the one that is just, fluffy with a nice TV and nice, what I mean, paintings and stuff on the wall. I want it to feel like that because that's what we need right now. And we don't need any more performative energy. I don't need to be enticed with thinly veiled allure. I don't need to be, I don't need no more TikTok dances. I don't want no more TikTok dances because in 10 years, who gonna be doing dances? Gonna be raising AI children. I need us to do better and not just, I think that if you have a platform, specifically, if you have platforms, if you have things that solve problems, I think that you should be seeking out to do stuff that is in a way therapeutic. You should be seeking to make people, if you have something that you're doing, some type of group, some type of activity, like you should want it to feel tight knit. And with the state of affairs today, I want to build more community. And I call this therapy because it is therapy. It's therapeutic for me to have these conversations. So I know in some way that it is helpful to people. And I'm at probably 100, but by the time this dropped, I'm probably at 130 something thousand. 100. Okay. What I was going to say is that I have 130. Because I said something that came out because of something that that I've manifested that's like at the brink. I just said something that I literally was like speaking to. And I talk about being authentic and how we don't need to be performative. I don't have, it's enough performative behavior and energy going on in the world. I feel like if you going, whether you have whatever your platform, whatever it is, do it to the fullest. Do it to the absolute maximum. Do it, break the knob, get to pray. You get to praying to God and start stomping feet. Like, do it, like, do it as if nobody else could, because literally nobody else can. So when I talk about being performative, what are you performing for? Like, putting on a show. It's putting on a show. It's for some shucking and driving. For others, it's to be performative is to show up and to put on this persona, this to try to for attention. I mean, you go picture you go to somebody that has a performance. You showing up to put on an act. You showing up because you getting paid to show up. A lot of us is being performative and we ain't getting no money for it, and that's really nuts. We not even getting monetized on social media, and people just doing stuff because it's fun. People doing stuff not for no plot. People just doing stuff, and to me, I feel like it's not that we can't do TikTok dances. It's not that we can't have fun on the internet. But I feel like in terms of where we are now, we all need to be trying to cultivate things that are going to last. Safe spaces are what build community. We need more community. And the reason I'm feeling emotions in a sense present day is because I feel like it's not that I don't feel like I have community. It's things that I feel like I personally need to continue to work on. And as much as I think that I have it figured out, maybe it could be that I need to be in better company. Maybe it could be that I need to continue to grow and continue to build within myself. But I just feel as if maybe safe spaces and therapy and all those things are necessary so to help with the things that some of us need to work on. One thing that I think safe spaces would help to create is obviously safety, but it will give people a chance in a way and some type of something to release emotion, to release anger, to get to the root of what's going on. And that start with something like that. Safe spaces I feel like lead to peace and releasing. And when I think about releasing and I think about emotions that we all are experiencing, I'm starting to understand that there is like something going on that's bigger than it's something big going on. And I feel like in a sense it's funny talking about safe spaces because I feel like the church house is supposed to be a safe space. I feel like church is supposed to be a safe space. I feel like church is supposed to be a safe space. I feel like a lot of places should be. Hmm, it's just a lot happening, and I don't feel like it's enough. It's a lot of performative behavior, and it's not enough people that are really, I feel like, getting what they need mental health wise. I feel like I feel like people are confused because of the things that they've been taught. When I think about safe spaces and I think about church, for example, when I think about that and I think about church, I think about religion. I don't care to get into all the semantics, all the things as to like if this is the Bible says study the scriptures and show thyself approved. It doesn't say go off the word or go off the word based on the faith of somebody else. And I personally feel like we need more safe spaces. We need more honest spaces. And in a way, I bring that up to say some places should feel safe, but it's a lot of, I think I want to say religious dogma. It's a lot of manipulation of like text and a lot of people put they spin on, y'all know, y'all know how people do. People will take anything and make it their own, even if making it their own is at the expense of the lives of millions of people. I feel like we need more safe spaces because when I think about things like church and I think about the church house and I think about the influence that people have, you're not creating safe spaces when you running amok in the palace. I don't know if this is a call to leadership. I don't know if it's a call to I don't know what it's called to, but I feel like if you are in a position of leadership, you best believe whatever it is that you are subjecting people to, whatever it is that you're telling people, whatever it is, that is going to impact you gonna be judged for whatever it is that you're doing. But I feel like my issue is that people are getting paid and getting put in position. Not only should they not be in, you shouldn't even be in the room, but you in a position to where you're not only not making it safe, you making it deadly. Y'all, I don't like. We need more safe spaces. People need to be able to call on people for help. People should be able to have people to lean on. I see entirely too many young people that are going through things that they should be able to be supported through. I see a lot of black kids that's struggling unnecessarily because they just not getting what they need. Whether it's in the home, whether it's in the school, whether it's whatever it is. But that when I talk about safe spaces, I mean safe, safe, safe spaces. I was gonna say I just gonna say safe, but like I want for man, I always say I want more for everybody. I want the most for everybody. But my hope is that this feels like that and that you don't feel as if you gotta I don't want people to feel as if they gotta take what I'm saying and like do it to the max or like feel like they gotta take what I'm saying as like some type of standard. However, that's what I want. And when I think about religion, it's funny because I think when you talk about safe spaces, people talk, but they don't live by principle. And when I think about religion in particular, it's like, why am I so confused about if God loved me or not? Why am I so confused? Why does that not what's not clicking? Like what's not clicking? What's not clicking? Why are so many people confused? Why are there so many different sects of of any there are so many different like categories and types and ways that people create boundaries or create rules, create stipulations, create all of these things so that into they fit into that they can be confined to. Because personally, I don't care to get into all of I couldn't get into all of the different types of religions or like branches and things that trickle down. But what I can say is that religion is I heard somebody say, I think her name is Sheila Food on Instagram. She got like 1.1 million followers, and she went from talking about food reviews to saying, I ain't using my platform for that. I'm gonna use my platform for God because that's what it's about. And for me, when I think about religion, I kind of get like I get a little tense. It give me a little like it just kind of when I think about some of the things that religion has done and how people don't really know where they are, or they don't know how God feel about them. They don't feel like God is a real thing or a real God is. They just people are. I feel like in a state of confusion, even though God is not the author of confusion, because they not really sure who God is, and they not sure if man, like people deal with anger. People deal with me personally. I deal with stuff and it's like I be having to remind myself, God don't view me how I view me. Hmm. Hmm. People love to say like God told me and God said God didn't even talk to Moses like that. God didn't talk to the Pharisees like that. He didn't talk to Job like that. I feel like to say that God said is almost like you doing Russian roulette with on a lot of levels. I don't believe in saying that, but I do believe that sometimes God gives you clarity, and that comes from having safe spaces, and that comes from I feel like being tapped in, and that's so funny because sometimes you just realize like the work is working and then I'm fine in my tribe and my community. But it's so crazy because I ain't even think about it like that. I ain't even think about it like that. Like, it's so funny. It's so funny how every time I sit down to have a topic of conversation, it's so funny to me. It's so funny to me how it never go according to plan. It's so funny to me that I can't do nothing but just show up. It's so funny to me. It's so hilarious that I have to literally put I I be blown. I'm blown right now because if I would have knew this before, I wouldn't. It's like you don't know until you know it. It's crazy because I sit here and I say stuff, and it's like, dang, I knew this the whole time, or did this really like? And that's the truth, Ruth. Like, God does not view me how I view me. Dang, that's an amazing thing to realize. Because I feel like that's so crazy. That's just so wild. Like, because who really think like that? Do anybody think like that? Like, if people actually realize that, I wonder what the world would be like. And that's just so wild because I don't think People be so busy being in a state of oblivion, of a matrix of oblivion created by ideas in your mind. Like, people are so quick to judge themselves. You're not even thinking about you're not even thinking about what God might think. You're not even thinking about like the grace you might have. And that to me, it just really makes me think. And I don't know how long this episode gonna be after this, but it's just wild. And I feel like that's what safe spaces are for, to really reveal to you and keep you clear. That's so crazy. That's wild. That's some wild business. That's wild. That's wild. And I say that's wild because people just don't get that. I ain't even realized that shit was just now. That's wild. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. That is so crazy to hear. That's so crazy to realize. Oh, where's my beauty blender? That's wild. But maybe that was the point of the episode. Maybe that was what I needed to say. Maybe that was the one thing that. Maybe that was what I needed to say. Like, maybe I needed to hear that for myself. Or maybe somebody needed to hear it. But I'm glad it was said. That's just so wild, though. Because I don't think people really think about that. I ain't even realize that. It be raining every time I sit down and do this. That's so wild. That is so wild. And if I don't clip this, that means I was brave enough and had faith enough to leave it. That is so wild. That is a wild realization. Because if we don't see ourselves how God, if God don't see us, God, what are you doing? If God don't see us, if God don't see us how we see ourselves, then what are we looking at? That is that is crazy to realize. Because even for me, it's so many times where I feel like we spend so much time over critique, over critique. Dang, it's so much time spent over critiquing, over analyzing, and like judging ourselves. Thank God for this makeup. There's so much time spent. Oh, God is funny. God got a funny way of showing up. God got a funny way of showing up. Because God knows I had 5 things I wanted to talk about before I sat down. All I can say is that we need more safe spaces, and I thank God that I'm able to be in a position. It's storming outside. Cut the cameras. I am so full. This was dinner. Like, that's wild. I'm done. I don't even know what else to say after that. I think that was what I needed to hear. Woo! Whoa! I hope y'all got that. Not my tears, but like, if God don't see us how we see ourselves, what the heck do we be looking at? And how do we self-identify? How are we self-identifying? How are you looking at yourself and what are you identifying yourself as? And I ain't talking about heterosexual or otherwise. I mean, like, really, what do you see when you look at you? Because if you see something that's contrary of what love, peace, of what beauty, what abundance, like, you not thinking godly thoughts and you not looking at yourself in a way that God looks at you, like, it's just not what it is. It's like you might hate yourself, but do you really believe that everybody around you hates you too? Do you really believe about yourself that, you know what I mean? Like, we don't hate ourselves. We just have learned and we have conditioned ourselves to believe in that something is wrong with us, and it ain't. And that be the problem with some of these people. That be a problem with these religions. That be the problem with y'all, cause you are doing the wrong. You in the wrong field. Get out the field. Some of y'all ain't creating safe spaces for people, and it's wild to me because I've been in therapy and I've been doing a lot of work on myself, a lot of self analyzations, a lot of intricate, interconnected trauma I've worked on and I'm still working on. But I just feel as though that be the issue, and the fact that people are not. That be one of the issues. That be one of them. But for me, I'm grateful. I'm appreciative, and I'm praying and hoping that the light turn on and that people start to realize people just have a better realization of life, and if they stop looking at who they are as some type of problem, you looking at yourself as if something is wrong with you, or looking at yourself as if you're not as beautiful as you are. And that's the thing too. Only your belief about yourself is what's gonna count. Only your belief about yourself is what's gonna be the standard. Only the belief that you carry about you is the thing that's gonna matter. The only people that should matter to you is you and you alone. And because why are you worried about what anybody think? And you know what's really tea? God is not even sitting up checking boxes. I used to think there was a certain number of things that I had to do to become qualified or to meet the criteria or to meet the stipulation or like whatever it was to literally get into the gates where Peter, Paul, and John and James would be. I really genuinely thought in my mind there were a number, I don't know how many things that has to be multiplied and added up, minus or subtracted, that I needed to do in order to literally receive heaven. In some esoteric, crazy way, like, it's just wild because a lot of people feeling like people is waiting to die to go to heaven. People is living their lives to die because they think heaven is on the other side of death. And I love people like Tupac because they made peace with stuff like that and they dealt with that and they still, like, in spite of whatever, like, they learned to live. Nipsey, Tupac, like, all the great people that have passed on, like, they didn't fear death. They feared not living enough. They just feared, like, Tupac had, it's like an interview or something where he was like, as a people, it gets to a point where, like, you starting as a poor people, you watching all these people living in these big houses and like eating buffets, and you in the ghetto, poor, starving, or you middle class, and you watching. You know what I'm saying? You watching certain things happen, whatever. But he was saying how you see that, and as a person, you get to getting frustrated. And he said it started off with like, hey, knocking on your door, can we get some food? And it goes from that to, hey, hello, how you doing? And it goes from that to, we knocking on your door, da 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 da. And it goes from that to, I'm picking the lock, I'm coming through blasting. It's because it wasn't a matter of what's gonna happen to me after this. It's not a matter of what's gonna happen to me as a result of this. It's what's gonna happen if I don't act and if I don't live. And I love Tupac and I love people like Prince. I love people like that because, whoo, Back in elementary, I thrived on misery. Left me alone. I grew up amongst a dying breed. Inside my mind, couldn't find a place to rest until I got that thug life tatted on my chest. I love people like that because you don't fear death if you know what it is to live. And that's another line for you and your cousin them. That's it. Check out time, 5 a.m. You cannot. To fear death is to avoid living life. Thank you, Lord, because I ain't get this from nowhere. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I just feel like, you know what I mean? People gotta show up as they self. People gotta figure out where they. I don't want to say you gotta figure out where you fit, but get in community with people. And if you have community, don't shun people because they don't. Maybe I don't know. Don't shun people. This ain't gonna be the type of episode where I get in where I start like going in on people because y'all know how I am. Y'all know how my gray and white and black videos are. But this ain't the video time or place that I'm gonna do all of that because I want this to be a safe space. But just like I want this to be a safe space, part of safety is care and concern and consideration. And for me, I care, I am concerned, and I consider. In the facts, we need more safety, we need more supervision, hypervigilance, but we really need to figure out, man, we need to figure out how to come together, but we need to also go internal and we need to create safety within ourselves, our own environments. Who you around? Is you driving to Plymouth? Is you driving to Finkel Wyoming at 2 a.m.? Are you around the right people? And if I say Finkel Wyoming, you should know where I'm talking about. But like, seriously, it makes a difference. And I'm not saying nothing crazy about Finkel, Wyoming, but if you are familiar, I'm just saying because it comes to mind. I said what I said. Wherever you from Schaefer, from anywhere, don't say nothing to me. And I know people gonna say something, but that's cool because. But yeah, what positions or situations and environments are you putting yourself in? Don't be driving around the main streets of Detroit, of anywhere, and you can avoid issues. And I use that example, and I use the streets, and I say certain things because I find joy in trauma, and I find joy in the things that are dark and things that are funny, and I have my own sense of humor. But I feel like it ain't just location; it's like for real. How do you create safety? Like, what is it that keeps you safe? Do you know what it is to feel safe? Or are you looking external for somebody to validate what safety is or how it is that you should feel? You cannot ask nobody to, you can't guarantee. I can guess the sure. I can rest assured. I can promise you for sure. It ain't always be somebody there that's going to be able to say what needs to be said. It ain't always going to be somebody there that's going to say what needs to be said. It ain't always going to be somebody that's going to be able to give you therapy. Because I can tell you that it just ain't. It ain't. It's not. It's not. It's not. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry your cousin lied to you. I'm sorry that they didn't tell you in school. But it's people that's literally going about life just having to be alone. And I understand it's man, they know it's just not enough. And it's not to say it can't be created, but it has to start. And somebody got to pull the button. Somebody got to pull the cord. Somebody got to. We just don't make people feel unsafe. Create safer environments and create your own safety. And by create your own safety, I mean, come on now. Who do you hang around? What do you tell yourself? How mindful are you of your interactions? Like, what do you do to keep yourself grounded? Like, safety is. I mean, it's different things to different people. I mean, but What do you protect yourself from? Like your boundaries. How do you communicate? Like what makes you feel warm inside? Because if you can't really identify or know or have some type of gauge, who gonna tell you what to do? Who gonna tell you what that is? I know it gotta be making some type of sense because it's coming from somewhere. But yeah, so people can't do it. We need safe spaces, but please believe they won't always they won't always necessarily exist. Sometimes you got to create it. That's why a lot of people need to get on their business and get in the field and off the phone and out the clouds and stop being jealous or worried about what the next person doing, whether it's a Gina Views, whether it's a Grits and Eggs, whether it's a Rayon Ortiz, whether it's an aerospace, no matter who it is, like everybody got to do their own thing, everybody got to do their own vibe, everybody got to be on their own wave. And you got to be able to create, not just creativity wise, not just sexual energy wise, not kids wise. It's like you really got to create within yourself the garden that you want to see. You got to plant the seeds and literally like pour into that. And you're pouring into a garden is pouring it. Come on, man. I'm trying to explain stuff, but it's like, again, I feel like I be talking to my sons, like the little homies. I feel like I just say sometimes, well, you know what? That's the thing. You go to a doctor, you don't know what you need. But when you show up, you get a bill and you get help. You get the medicinal, you get the help you need. And I hope that this feels like therapy. I hope this feels helpful. My God, I want this to be impactful. And thank you, God, in advance for whatever it is that is coming after this video. So, in that being the case, with that said, I'm gonna wrap this up. This has been episode 18. This video is sponsored by God. Thank y'all so much for being here. Every Thursday. That's my day. Toggling between a couple days, but Thursday is gonna be therapy Thursday. But I can't take it back now. Alright, yeah, so as I continue to gather my notes and thoughts and processing, I appreciate y'all so much. I'm so grateful to be at episode 18. If you made it to this part of the episode, you the real MVP. You're not, but I am. But you are appreciated, and I love and appreciate everybody that take the time out to listen to me, to glean something, to extrapolate some type of wisdom. If you just need somebody to talk to virtually, but without being able to speak, until I get this phone line set up, until I get this stuff cracking, until I get it cracking until I get it cracking in here, is sponsored by God, but God gonna do exceedingly, gonna do some works. So thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being a part of my journey and for supporting me in the process. Yeah. So till next time.